Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings and blessings. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you here to the 48th annual conference of the International of the Caribbean Examinations Council and conference lead for the conference organizing teams. I am your master of ceremonies for this morning. It is my pleasure indeed to welcome all of you and greet you as we proceed with this morning's proceedings. Ladies and gentlemen, IAEA members, we have made it once again. Here we are in Jamaica. Let me hear you. We've been waiting for an entire year, and we've come together yet again to share in our knowledge and our experiences as we work in our various contexts in education, in our universities, in our examining bodies, in our assessment agencies, and in our ministries of education across the globe. We welcome all persons far and wide, those who've joined us from all the continents of the globe. We have as many as 28 countries represented here today from North, Central, and South America, the Caribbean, the Middle East, the UK, Europe, Africa, Asia, and the South Pacific. CXC is pleased to be the host of the 48th IAEA conference here in Jamaica, and on behalf of CXC, we welcome all of you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would ask if you can stand as we proceed with the playing of the national anthem of none other than the beautiful country of the nation of the land of wood and water, beautiful Jamaica. You may be seated. And now I welcome to the podium Senior Pastor Christopher Morgan for Go for God Ministries Family Church in Kingston, who has graciously agreed to open the conference with a prayer. We welcome him to do so.
Good morning, everyone. As we invoke the presence of God, I'd like us to be mindful that the number one taxi company in the world owns no cars. That the number one hotelier in the world owns no rooms. The number one outlet mall owns no stores. The number one retailer owns no stores or inventory. The number one media outlet produces no media. The number one photography company in the world takes no photographs. It's very important that as we gather, that we ensure that we are right where we need to be as things change so rapidly. So let us pray. God in heaven, this morning we invoke your presence. We believe that It is you that gives us wisdom and revelation and understanding. We pray today for the proceedings, Father God, and we do indeed pray that we would have your revelation brought forward, that we will be able to not just understand the best of what is presently known, but that we will see the future as we seek to build a strong future for the next generations to come. We pray your blessings right now in Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you very much, Pastor Morgan. Honorable Marcia Smith, MP, Minister of State in the Ministry of Education and Youth, and featured speaker on behalf of the Honorable Fable Williams, Minister of Education and Youth. Welcome. Ambassador Janice Miller, Chief Technical Officer, representing the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Welcome. Permanent secretaries and officials of the government of Jamaica who are here with us. And I see in our presence, we have Dr. Kassan Troop, Chief Education Officer. Members of the diplomatic corps, we have members of the UN and multilateral agencies who are here in Jamaica. Dr. Mary Petoniak, President of the IAEA and members of the Board of Trustees of the IAEA. Dr. Wayne Wesley, Registrar and Chief Executive Officer of the Caribbean Examinations Council. Council members from the Caribbean Examinations Council. And I believe in the audience we have Professor Paloma Mohammed Martin, who is also a keynote speaker, and she's a member of the council and she's a chair of the Research Advisory Committee of Council. Welcome. Executive members of the Caribbean Examinations Council. Special mention I must make to the chairs and co-chairs and members who served in the conference planning committees. Serving with me were Dr. Nicole Manning, who's here with us, Ms. Sheena Balkaran, who's somewhere around working, I'm assuming, Mr. Richard Rose, who I guess is also somewhere around working, and several others who are in the audience and are joining us online. Pastor Christopher Morgan, Senior Pastor, Go for God Family Church, members of the IAEA community, conference participants, both here in Jamaica and those who are joining virtually, staff of the Caribbean Examinations Council and volunteers from the Heart Trust, NTA, and the Overseas Examinations Commission, who are serving in the conference secretariat, and we are grateful to them for being here with us today. All specially invited guests and members of the media. Protocols, ladies and gentlemen, have now been observed and adopted for the event, in the event that we have other mentions to make later on. So ladies and gentlemen, it is again my honor to welcome you. We have an exciting and packed conference for you over the next 5 days on the theme Digitalizing Assessments and Credentials. We have a series of non-educational events, including last night, many of you participated in our welcome reception. This morning, we have our opening ceremony. We have the IAEA Recognition Committee project, which meets on Tuesday morning, the IAEA Annual General Meeting, which meets on Thursday afternoon for all members of the IAEA community. 3 tours to Jamaica. For those of you who have not already pre-booked, you can do that today with a tour desk. Gala dinner for those of you who are excited about the opportunities of cocktailing with each other and enjoying a light moment. And the closing ceremony, which will happen on Friday, where we will hear more about the hosts for the 2024 IAEA conference. For educational events, we have 4 inception workshops, which were held yesterday, and I understand they were all very successful. 4 keynote presenters, and they're presenting each day except Friday, AM and PM, 3 symposia. And we have just about 48 simultaneous paper presentations. So ladies and gentlemen, it is really my honor to have all of you here today to witness and participate in our opening ceremony. And so it is my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce bringing welcome remarks on behalf of the Caribbean Examinations Council, the host of the 48th IAEA conference, a son of the soil of Jamaica. Dr. Wayne Wesley is the CXE Registrar and Chief Executive Officer. He's a visionary leader. He provides strategic leadership and management for the Caribbean Examinations Council with a key focus on transformational change and strategic repositioning. Dr. Wesley has been in executive and senior leadership positions in the field of human capital development, having served here in Jamaica and the Caribbean region in various capacities within higher education and vocational education and training. He's also worked with the Caribbean Association for National Training Agencies, where he was chairman, and he's also been a senior leader at the University of Technology here in Jamaica. Dr. Wesley is an avid networker. If you know anything about him, he networks extensively, engaging internationally, and with the ultimate purpose of not just positioning the Caribbean Examinations Council, but also the region as we engage in educational transformation. He's also a well-known speaker on a series of educational issues, and of late, he's been speaking out on artificial intelligence matters. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium this morning, none other than the CXE Registrar and Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Wayne Wesley.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Jamaica. And for those of you who are in Mexico, you remember the invitation I gave you, that let's get to Jamaica and feel all right. One love, one all. Don't you remember that song? Those of you who are in Mexico, come on. I thought I would get persons jumping to their feet and getting ready. One love, one all. Let's feel all right. Yeah. Yeah, man. Come on. There we go. There we go. So we have done it. We have gotten you into Jamaica. And we are really delighted to have you and to share this moment with you. I trust that as you partake of this week's event, particularly on Wednesday, when we give you the opportunity to see what Jamaica is like, I trust that you'll all take advantage of that. Now, Honorable Marcia Smith, Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, representing our Minister, Honorable Favour Williams, Ambassador Janice Miller, representing the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Good to have you in our midst today. We have our Chief Education Officer, Dr. Kassan Troop, representing the Ministry of Education as well. We have Dr. Mary Pinocchiak, right? Pitoniak, sorry, President of the International Association of Educational Assessment. We have Professor, and I'm singling out this lady because she's special. She's one of our keynote speakers. We have Professor Paloma Martin, Vice Chancellor of the University of Guyana, and also member of the Council of CXE. Welcome, Professor Paloma Martin. All specially invited guests, members of the board of the IAEA, executive members of the Caribbean Examinations Council, and I just want to specially mention Dr. Eduardo Ali, leading the preparation and preparedness for us to be enjoying this moment this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, the chairman of the Caribbean Examinations Council, I warmly welcome you to the opening function of this international conference. I must express regret on his behalf. He wanted to be here, but unfortunately he's unable to. But rest assured that his spirit, and if his spirit is not here, I'll make sure it is embodied in me and make sure that you all feel that spirit. But we are here celebrating the 48th international posting of the International Association of Educational Assessment. The Caribbean Examinations Council is delighted to host, in partnerships with the International Association for Educational Assessment, the 48th International Conference under the theme Digitalizing Assessment and Credentials. The hosting of this year's conference in the region marks the second occasion CXC has brought this globally recognized and appealing conference to the Caribbean region. A clear signal that while we continue to have regional impact, the Council is also keen on demonstrating global influence. Strategically, the hosting of this international conference this year is particularly significant as the Council celebrates 50 years of dedicated service to the people and government of the region for over 16 member states of CARICOM, of the CARICOM community, CARICOM. One thing that is common among us is the emerging fact from COVID-19 pandemic that there is a collective consciousness and understanding and realization that the current educational construct must be reimagined, reformed, and repositioned, particularly educational assessment. In this regard, digital innovation, while not the panacea, has proven to be optimally efficient and effective in alleviating many of the challenges that characterized the pre-pandemic systems of assessment. It is undeniable that perhaps the most acute evidence is the acute evidence of the influence of digital innovation is the impact of artificial intelligence, not only on teaching and learning, but also assessments. Within this global educational village, we are all sitting in this village right now. We are representing 5 continents here, all over the world, sitting in this room. It is imperative then that the imperative that confronts us rather is to ensure that we navigate the new paradigm of digital innovation that will see us creating the balance for security and efficiency with validity and reliability. This is important as we preserve the integrity of the assessment systems we are using to certify competence. I look forward to the intellectual discourse that will ensue over the next 5 days. Let us have a productive week of rigorous engagement. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wesley. We can always count on him to really get you going, as he did last year when he called upon everyone to be ready for the conference in Jamaica. Thank you so much, sir. Just to say, it was remiss of me to mention that our chairman, the Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, is unable to be with us, and he sent his apologies, but we know that he's here with us in spirit. So at this point, please permit me to introduce the next speaker, who is none other than Dr. Mary Petoniak. Dr. Mary Petoniak is the president and former president of the International Association for Educational Assessment. She's also vice president of Division D of the American Educational Research Association, commonly known as AREA, for those of you who are familiar with it. Her substantive role is executive director of the Educational Testing Service in the US, where she oversees professional standards disability accommodations, and research, among many others. Dr. Petoniak is an educational psychologist and psychometrician with significant experience in capacity building of assessments and examinations internationally. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium, Dr. Mary Petoniak.
I did not expect to be escorted up by such a handsome gentleman. That's the way to start off a speech. So good morning, everybody. I had told Eduardo that I'd be glad to sing at the drop of a hat because I am in a band, but then Dr. Wesley stole the show. But maybe we could sing occasionally this song until everyone is singing, because it is a very catchy song. So this is my first meeting as president of the IAEA, and I can't think of a better place with a more beautiful country, warm and welcoming people than to have it in Jamaica. It's something that I will always remember. I flew into Montego Bay and people said, why did you do that? And as I was in the cab for 2.5 hours, I thought, yes, why did I do this? But I had a wonderful ride. I saw a lot of scenery. I had a young gentleman who was driving and we talked about music. So he played music and we sang for 2 hours. I had to tell him at minute 45 of Kenny Rogers, could we please change to a different singer? But no, we had a wonderful time and it was a wonderful introduction to the country. I'd like to thank our hosts. I haven't been married. Now I'm open to offers, but I understand that when you do a wedding, you plan for a year, 2 years, then the day comes and it's all a blur and you barely remember anything. And so think of the hosts. We have here also Elena from last year in Mexico City. You plan for a year, it gets more intense, and then you have a 5-day wedding, and then at the end you collapse. So they are doing a very good job of not looking stressed, except maybe in the office, but people don't see that. They are doing a wonderful job. Their warmth, their dedication, and their skill is very evident. So I know we'll be thanking them a lot, but I'd like to at least start off with a round of applause for that. So are there any people here that this is their first IAEA conference? If you could raise your hand. Oh, that is just delightful. Thank you. That's wonderful. Because of the pandemic, we had a lull in the conferences. And so we had a wonderful return in Mexico City and we're going to have a wonderful time here. And we'd like to really build back up the attendance. And it just makes my heart so happy. And I was watching the other board of trustees. We're so happy that people are coming for the first time. Now, people come with different goals to a conference. Certainly coming to see Jamaica is top of the list. And I've had a lot of people say, oh, I'm so jealous. Oh, you're going to Jamaica? And I said, I'm not going to be at the beach. I'm going to be in a conference, but I'm going to be at a conference with people who share the same passion for helping students, helping adults learn what they're good at and become good at it and enjoy full lives. So to me, that is just about the same as being at the beach. The sun of success is shining. So you're certainly going to go to sessions and you're going to learn a lot. But I'd like to suggest to you that meeting new people is just as important. So my ask of you is each day, introduce yourself to 3 strangers. And you might think, oh, I don't want to do that. I'll just stay with my country people. But really, we're here to meet each other. If I'm one of the strangers, that's fine. I'd be glad to meet everybody. So if I see you in passing, I might just check in about this assignment. So really just say, I'm Mary Betoniak from the United States. Where are you from? Oh, what do you do? We can all learn from each other. No one's superior to anyone else. You might think, oh, I've only had this job for a year. I don't know as much as that person. I don't agree with that. You're bringing your context of your country, how you do things, and that's just as important as somebody being an officer or a CEO or something like that. No matter what you do, you have something to share with others. So I really encourage you to do that. And of course, that is easier to do when you're drinking. So, you could go to the bar, and certainly there'll be the wonderful gala dinner, and also on the tours, just take a chance and talk to others and learn from them. So you'll hear from me several more times, so I don't think I need to keep going on. I will turn it back over to Eduardo, but thank you so much for coming. We're going to have a great week.
Thank you very much, Mary. Fondly known as Dr. Mary Petoniak, we really appreciate your welcome remarks. So at this point, we're going to have for you some entertainment. And it's none other than Steel Pan Tours Limited, who some of you would have heard last night performing at the welcome reception. So we're going to be treated to a Steel Pan rendition courtesy Steel Pan Tours. Steel Pan Tours is a purpose-built destination tour company solely for portraying steel pan and its related characteristics, such as the history and development of the steel pan, showcasing its manufacturing and live performances. They will be launching the facility and business in November in Walker's Wood, St. Anne, Jamaica. You're welcome to join them, I believe, at their launch. And this segment has been sponsored by Steel Pan Tours Just For You. With us is Adrian Jaikaran. He is the Steel Pan Tours Master Steel Pan Craftsman. So please welcome him as he performs for you this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Adrian Jaikaran.
Good morning, everyone. I think you made a mistake, Dr. Ali. You sure it's not Dr. Wesley performing? I'm just using this microphone until I get mine. All right. Oh, this is quite different. So ladies and gentlemen, how y'all feeling today? Y'all all right? Oh, nice. That's good. So what's the time? All right, y'all are early bunch. All right, very good. So ladies and gentlemen, I am here this morning to give you some nice music, number one, but also to remind you that in everything that you do, there is a bit of culture in it, all right? There's a bit of culture, as you were saying yesterday, yes, remember? There's a bit of culture in what you're doing. And let me tell you something from the bottom of my heart, whatever you all do today, it's heavily reliant on what happens tomorrow. Yeah, so I really appreciate that and thank you very much. And I hope you enjoy this, all right? As Dr. Wesley said, one love, one heart. Let's get together and, all right. How was sounding? Sounding good? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the steel pan, the steel drum. All right, it's Caribbean born. Yeah, it's Caribbean born and it's a lovely instrument. Listen to this one. Oh man. They say in Germany, wunderschön. Right, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to engage you in a little performance here, and I want to get the reaction and the responses and everything nice. All right. Oh, pirates, yes, they rob I. Sold I to the merchant ships. You know it? Minutes after they took I from my bottomless pit. But my hand was made so strong. We have some strong hands in here, right? By the hand of the Almighty. Who's the? Let me hear it now, man. In this generation, all right? Triumphantly. Now won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? It's all I ever had. And if you know this one, come on, sing it with me. Redemption song. Redemption song. One more time, redemption. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, because none of that can stop the time. How long shall we kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? We're not standing aside, huh? Bob Marley would be very proud of you all today that we don't stand aside and look. Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book, all those books that you all have here today. All you better do something with that, huh? Because we need you all. Now won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? It's all I ever had. Redemption songs. Ladies and gentlemen, that was one from Mr. Bob Marley. Come on, thank you very much. And of course, I have to give you a little story, one last piece before I leave you all right? And this is a story of the steel pan, yeah? And it goes like this. Somewhere up in Laventille, many years ago, a man had a hammer. So what it's saying is, somewhere up in Laventille. Laventille is a place in Trinidad and Tobago, yeah? And it's a nice hilly area. And this guy is saying, his name is David Michael Rudder. He's saying, somewhere up in Laventille, many years ago, a man had a hammer. And you know what he used to do with the hammer? He took it and he made this instrument. Yeah, and they say he used it to pong a pan. He used to use it to pong a pan. Savannah. And in Trinidad and Tobago, there is this big festival, the Steel Pan Festival. It's called Panorama. It's an engagement where there is thousands of steel pan musicians all at one place on one stage. Yeah? And then guess what happened? Someday the old hammer just disappeared. Some say that it vanished into thin air. And this is the part where you come in. I'm going to sing this. Where the man with the hammer gone? And I want you all to sing. Tell me where he gone. Let me hear it. 1, 2, 3. Tell me where he gone, right? Where the man with the hammer gone? Tell me where he gone. Where the man with the hammer gone? Tell me where he gone. Where the man with the hammer gone? Tell me where he gone. Where the man with the hammer gone? Tell me where he gone. And this is the part where everything that has meaning always end up into some kind of jam, right? In Trinidad, in Jamaica, everywhere, we always have the meaning. And then we say, yes, now we're going to jam. So what he says now is we're going to start searching. Search on the hidden. Where the man with the hammer gone? Tell me where the hammer gone. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. All right. I want to say, I wish you a very pleasant and a very successful conference. My name is Adrian, Steel Pan Tours. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it again for Steel Pan Tours, Adrian. So this is where I get the honor and privilege to introduce a very special woman who is in our presence. It's none other than the Minister of State for the Ministry of Education and Youth here with the government of Jamaica, the Honorable Marcia Smith, MP. The Honorable Marcia Smith, MP, was recently appointed in her current role with the government of Jamaica. Prior to this, she served as Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance and Public Service here in Jamaica. Minister Smith was elected to represent the constituency of Northeast St. Anne in 2020. Having received her legal education at the Norman Manley Law School, Minister Smith was admitted to practice as an attorney at law in 1997. Her areas of practice include general legal advice, probate, conveyancing, and civil litigation. She served as a member, deputy chair, and chair of the Industrial Disputes Tribunal in Jamaica. Minister Smith's interests include music, interestingly, history, world affairs, and education. And now she is very passionate about the causes for the IAEA. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium none other than the Honorable Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, Honorable Marcia Smith, who will deliver the feature address on behalf of the Honorable Favour Williams, Minister of Education and Youth.
Good morning. I can see all the expectant faces, and I must thank Dr. Eduardo Ali for his masterful chairing of the proceedings so far. And this morning, before I go into the pleasantries, it's a wonderful morning. We are seeing a very good exposition of Caribbean culture. It's a culture of welcoming and warmth. And thanks again to Adrian. And yes, and Dr. Wesley with that good cheer, because I said to him, there should be a sub-theme to what you have here. One love, let's get together and feel all right. When I get to the end of my greetings, I may just give you a little bit of the music to continue it going. Okay, Ambassador Janice Miller, Chief Technical Director in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, representing Minister of that ministry. Dr. Mary Pitoniak, President of the International Association of Educational Assessment and other board trustees. Dr. Wayne Wesley, Registrar and Chief Executive Officer of the Caribbean Examination Council and other council members, permanent secretaries, our own acting Chief Education Officer, Dr. Kassan Troop, Pastor Christopher Morgan. Thank you so much, sir, for that blessing that you have given us today. And I'm sure it will continue, not just for today, but for the rest of the conference. Specially invited guests, media, ladies and gentlemen, it is always good to gather to discuss things related to education and how education can be transformed, because that is a challenge of most educators, having the facility or the capacity within which to educate according to current situations on ground. I'm therefore very happy to join in extending a warm welcome to all delegates participating in this, the 48th International Association of Educational Assessment Conference right here in Jamaica. One love. Yes, man. Yes, man. It's the Irie welcome to Jamaica. And the Ministry of Education and Youth welcomes this focus on digitizing assessments and credential, given the expansion in the criteria for assessing students' competencies, as well as advancing in digital technologies over the past few years. These developments are pushing individuals and institutions to adjust more rapidly to a world of data, software, artificial intelligence, and the general use of technology. The staging of the conference here in Jamaica is quite timely, given the steps that we here in Jamaica have taken to launch the National School Leaving Certificate later this year. Initially, the certificates or digital badges will be issued by the Ministry of Education and Youth to students from a select group of schools that are ready to implement the program. As others are able to participate, their students will also be able to receive the digital badges. We are very, very excited about the National School Leaving Certificate, NSLC. It is inclusive as it recognizes the achievements of all students. It also recognizes a wide range of achievements beyond the academic. It presents a balanced profile of a student and is positioned as a valuable support for employment, further study, and it meets the express requirements of the marketplace. The NSLC is earned as a result of the student's school achievements and documents the learner's personal growth and development and participation in community service over the entirety of the secondary school, grades 7 to 13. This certificate is going to be issued on a tiered basis. The 5-year certificate will be issued for those who transition from high school into their associate degree programs, teachers' colleges, or university programs, which will be upgraded after they complete their associate degree or the first 2 years of their bachelor's degrees to a 7 years of high school diploma. In our contemporary society, digital badges are powerful new tools for identifying and validating the rich array of people's skills, knowledge, accomplishments, and competencies. The set of data provided by digital badges will also include information on a program of study that outlines the levels of competence and skills attained in key areas of a program. For example, a digital badge may show an earner's ability to carry out a professional function in relation to the competencies required. Digital badges offer clear visibility of one's skills, which overrides the abstract indirect standards of a traditional certificate. These digital badges are verifiable by the issuing organizations such as companies or institutions of learning, and they are secured by enterprise-class data security, which allows earners to share their badges safely on various social media platforms and thereby increase their chances of international recruitment and recognition. This is especially important for persons who have qualifications which may grant them international employment and recognition. Once a badge is issued, the person who has earned it may now share it on various social media platforms. The end receiver on these platforms will be able to click the badge and have access to the earner's achievements as per the built-in metadata. The receiver is then able to verify the validity of the badge as the issuer will be identified as the company or the institution of learning rather than the earner. Employers are therefore able to verify through direct engagement with the issuing institution or company because the badges will be designed to be traced to the issuing or awarding body. Of course, we cannot ignore potential cybersecurity breaches. Issuers of credentials can sign them using their own digital signatures. This cryptographic technique verifies the issuer's authenticity and the credential's integrity. Recipients and verifiers can then use these issuers' public key to confirm that the digital credential has not been tampered with or forged. Ladies and gentlemen, organizations must continually adapt to stay competitive and attract top talent in the ever-evolving professional landscape. One way to achieve this is by embracing digital credentials, which may offer many benefits for both employers and employees. Jamaica's Ministry of Education and Youth has signed an agreement with City and Guilds to issue digital badges to students who have participated in their programs. And we are looking forward to working with other organizations such as Caribbean Examinations Council in this regard. You hearing me, Doctor? You hearing me, right? Good. All right. I trust that we will find this week's discussions informative and enlightening as we explore the contemporary challenges and opportunities of assessing students' competencies and achievements. And you know, I am at the end of my presentation, and I would normally end it with saying, thank you. But I want to end it with a choral piece, because what Dr. Ali didn't say is that I'm a member of a choir. And yes, and in the spirit of community and collaboration, which is what this conference is aiming to achieve, I'm going to sing and you're going to follow. One love, one heart, let's get together and feel all right. So we stand. Yeah, one love, one heart, let's get together and feel all right. One love.
Okay, I think we got started, Mary. I think you need to come up here and sing, continue the singing. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. I was not expecting that, but I think you just did it. You just took the conference to another level after Dr. Wesley started his piece. Thank you so much. So I'm going to now call to the podium none other than our Director of Corporate Services, Mrs. Cherie Deslandes, who will present a token to the Honorable Minister.
Honorable Minister, good morning, everyone. I'm not going to sing, but I just want to say thank you for your timely information that you would have provided, as well as for blessing us with your angelic voice. We do appreciate it.
So ladies and gentlemen, we are coming almost to the close of these proceedings. At this point, I'm going to ask our Director of Operations, Dr. Nicole Manning, to the podium. Dr. Manning is our Director of Operations, and as you know, and you've seen it in your conference handbook or in your magazine, she is one of those who's been behind the conference with me working to get this program together. So please welcome Dr. Nicole Manning, Director of Operations of the Examination Services Division at CXC, to deliver the vote of thanks.
And you will feel all right. I think we should all just have a choir. Okay, so of course you'd have heard I'm Nicole Manning, and it is indeed my pleasure to be afforded the opportunity of giving the vote of thanks. So let me begin, of course, with our pastor, Pastor Morgan. It's always very important to start the day right, and that we certainly did. Our registrar and CEO, Dr. Wayne Wesley, who, of course, with our Honorable Minister of State in the Ministry of Education and Youth, who both somehow said the same thing in terms of drive the collaboration that is expected, but more so the driving of where we need to go. I must also add Dr. Mary Petoniak, yes, where she has given us a challenge. And I'm sure, Mary, as you see us along the way, we are going to be grateful to give you good news of the success of that challenge that you gave us. More importantly, I would want to highlight and thanks to the minister in terms of the recognition of those competencies that you have noted. And of course, the Caribbean Examinations Council, I can even say this on behalf of Dr. Wesley, looks forward to working with the Ministry of Education in this endeavor. I'd like to also say thanks to Dr. Eduardo Ali, who of course would have been with us as our Masters of Ceremony. And together we had a wonderful time this morning. So let me say thanks to everyone who you are present. Our steel pan player, in terms of the fact that he did a blend. I felt like I was moving across the Caribbean. I was waiting for him to reach to the other islands, but I guess we can't spend all day. But we did enjoy the blend of what he presented. So let me say thanks to everyone. And I do hope that as I hand over to Dr. Ali, that we have a wonderful time. But I could not close this vote of thanks without saying, give thanks and praise to the Lord, and you will feel all right.
Well, I'm not going to try to sing. I can tell you that for sure. If I do, you may need to have your refreshments almost immediately. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all of you for being very active participants. Clearly, you have been with all the singing that has been taking place this morning. And we thank Dr. Wesley. I almost said Dr. the Honorable. Marsha Smith, Ambassador Janice Miller, Dr. Mary Petoniak, and as well as Pastor Christopher Morgan and Mr. Adrian Jaikran for all that they've done today to keep us alive and going. So I'm going to just make a few closing announcements, but before I do, please pay attention to the video that you're going to see, which is a safety briefing for this hotel, so you know what is to be expected in cases of emergencies, etc. So the safety briefing.
Welcome to the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel, one of Kingston's preferred hotels. We would like to share with you some brief safety tips while you're with us. All our meeting rooms, bedrooms, and common areas are equipped with smoke detectors and sprinkler systems. In the event that the fire alarm goes off, signified by a shrill sound and flashing lights in all areas, we ask that you promptly evacuate the building to the closest assembly point, which is located through the glass doors by the conference hall and onto the lawns by the assembly point sign. For the guests staying with us, each room has an emergency exit sign on the room doors to help direct you to the nearest exit in the case of an evacuation procedure. During an evacuation, please use the stairways and not the elevators. Once the situation has been deemed okay to return to the building, our management team will invite everyone back inside. We thank you for choosing us for the IAEA conference. Please enjoy your time with us.
So that is your safety video in case you need it at any point in time during the conference. So ladies and gentlemen, just a few housekeeping matters I need to bring to your attention regarding the conference today. And so I'll do so now before we leave this room. First of all, there are refreshments being served in the pre-conference area, which is just outside. So immediately as we end the session, we go into the first keynote, and then we have a break where you can participate in those refreshments. The conference meeting venue is in this space. So all the keynote presentations and all the symposia will be in this space as it's set up now. But please note that when you have your simultaneous sessions, this space will be converted into 3 rooms. So you will be required to join the appropriate room for the sessions that you have at that particular point in time. So it's important that you don't wander off too far. We know you're excited to be in Jamaica. You want to experience the culture. You want to see the sights. You want to participate in more singing. But we'd ask you please to stay around so that you can ensure that you join the sessions promptly. For those persons who have not yet registered, and therefore you have not yet received your conference packages, including your ID, we please will ask you to visit the registration desk. It is to the outside to my right, and it's at the entrance of this area of the hotel. You will receive a copy of the program in the package. Also on your tables, you will notice that there are QR codes. One of those codes is for the conference program. And so we are asking you to please scan the program regularly. You can scan it every morning. You can scan it every afternoon. We are going to do daily updates to the program because there will be required changes as we proceed. In the event that those changes are recorded, you will need to be aware of those changes. So what I'm going to do in a moment is point out to you some of those changes for today so that you are aware of what is to be expected. We would also like to say that persons who are planning on departing on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, please visit the registration desk so as to inform the registration desk of your date of departure so that we could make the necessary catering arrangements to ensure that we don't over-cater on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. As you know, there are numbers to be catered for. We would like to know that today so we could inform the hotel of the logistics to be expected. I would also like to say that if you look at your conference program, for those of you who have it, there are some changes that you should note on pages 23 and 24. So following this session, we'd have the first keynote presentation by Dr. Onas Bertling, who will be, the session will be chaired by Dr. Mafu Rakumetsi. And after that, we break and we go into the first round of simultaneous sessions. Please note that the middle sessions in the Port Antonio suite will not happen this morning. We've had some cancellations just recently, and so we've had to cater accordingly. So the only 2 rooms that will be used would be the Montego Bay suite and the Negril suite. Also note that we have had to postpone the presentation by Irene Ovekari Elobe et al., and that will be moved to Thursday. And in the Negril suite, Dr. Tiba Griffith will be chairing that session. You will now have Divya Varier et al. From the US, including Morella Sambucharan et al. From Trinidad and Tobago in that suite, in that room. The session by Dale Peters has been canceled. If you move to page 24 of your program, you will note that we've had some changes as well. What we've done for the session after the break tomorrow, or this afternoon rather, we have a move to the session that will be now held in place of perception of cybercrime among assessment stakeholders in the Edo state of Nigeria. We are still yet to confirm what will happen with that session, but we've now moved the session by Judy Brady et al. Did ChatGPT make the grade will now be held in that session instead. And the last note to make, which you will find in your program, is that of the Negril Suite session chaired by Rose Flesham. And this last session has now been canceled. And so we have in replacement a presentation by Renia Brathwaite Cummings from Trinidad and Tobago on achievement on the Caribbean on exploring a cell-infused classroom assessment in the Caribbean. So those are the changes to be noted today. That information will not have reached necessarily your program updates because we do those daily. So again, I've just pointed out the changes. Do note the changes to be made. One final point before you leave. Those delegates from Azerbaijan, you are asked to meet with Michelle Narasing, who is down there. Her hand is up. And she would like to see you. She's our Public Relations and Marketing Officer at CXC. She'd have something to say to you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We are now closed for this session. Please have a wonderful day. Stay around for our keynote presentation, which starts soon. Thank you.